Michelle here at my Everyday Wife Life, and today I wanted to come to you with my thyroid story. Um, I actually do not have a thyroid. In 2012, I had my thyroid taken out for I they found thyroid cancer, and so I no longer have a thyroid, but um, but I'm good. I'm cancer free. So just let me just say that, so you don't have to worry about it. And but let me back up a little bit. So I would say back in around 2008 ish. Now, you know, when you have thyroid problems, I had a lot of brain fog, so I don't remember a lot of stuff. So I'm going to tell you things the best I can recollect. So in 2008, maybe a couple years before that, I started to think I had a thyroid problem, and I had my doctor check the levels, and they were fine. And because my sister has a hypothyroid condition, my older sister, and my mom had a hyperthyroid condition, and she had a goiter, which is a nodule in your neck. You know, it's just basically, I think your thyroid is enlarged. And she was really skinny. That's what happens when you're hyperthyroid. I believe she probably had something called Graves' disease. We're not sure yet, about that because, yeah, my dad doesn't remember the facts of all that, and my mom has Alzheimer's, right? So she doesn't remember that at this point, and I'll get into that in a minute. So she had a portion of her thyroid taken out, which made her then hypothyroid. And back in this was 1960 something that she had her thyroid out. And back then, they gave you something called Armor, which is natural desiccated thyroid. It's made from a pig's thyroid. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's a natural hormone. It has all the hormones that your thyroid has naturally. And then at some point in 1971, they invented something called Synthroid, which is the name brand of levothyroxine. So maybe most people are on levothyroxine. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. You might be on a generic, so Synthroid is the name brand. Yeah, so I believe that's when her problem started, is when she started on Synthroid. She started having headaches. I can remember as a child her being in bed. Me and my sister are starting to realize all these things now. We didn't realize it then what all that was, but we're realizing it now that it was her thyroid. And she was depressed. At some point, she got on anxiety or antidepressant pills, and I just actually learned something today about that. I don't think she was on Xanax, but I'm not sure what she was on. But Xanax, I watched somebody's video today. Xanax is not good. Well, I kind of knew that, but it's worse than I thought. It actually has been, and I don't know what the real term of Xanax is. I don't know what the name of that medicine is because there's other brands, but it has been found to cause dementia. Yeah, that's good, right? So, then at some point, about 10 years ago, her doctor decided to change her Synthroid to generic Synthroid, which I've heard bad things about that. You shouldn't take generic Synthroid, that from prescription to prescription, every time you get it refilled, it might be a little bit different. And yeah, that messes you up. Well, as soon as she started taking that, her hair started falling out. And she had started having short-term memory loss. And eventually all of her hair out. And I mean all of her hair, her eyebrows, her eyelashes, her, in her private parts, under her arms, on her legs, all of her hair fell out. Yeah. So, that didn't all happen right away. That happened over time. So then she went to the doctor about all that because she didn't know why that was happening. And in the past, she had a little bit of hair loss, so she wasn't thinking that it was her thyroid. She had some kind of, I don't know, something. It had to do with your hair, nothing to do with her thyroid. I thought, I don't know. She had little patches that were missing. Anyway, so she went back to her doctor like, oh, well, let's put you back on Synthroid. That generic is no good. I think it had something to do with her insurance that they decided to do that. I'm not sure. So they put her back on Synthroid, and Yeah, by that time it was too late. Alzheimer's had set in, and fast forward 10 years now, she's 78 years old, and then she's in the late stages of Alzheimer's, and she's in a nursing home. And I believe that now, and especially after today, seeing the thing about Xanax, that I believe it was due to not getting her thyroid under control, Synthroid, and probably antidepressant pills that was causing all that. So anyway, so all right, so back to me. So then in around 2000, so I went to the doctor and they said, yeah, your thyroid seems to be fine. You're fine, which is not true. The test can come back saying it's fine, but your thyroid isn't fine. Doctors need to look at all the symptoms and stuff, and I was having all the symptoms of thyroid. So about 5 years later, I had him tested again, and sure enough, yes, thyroid was, my thyroid levels were too low or too high. I don't know. I forget, which is which at this point. So yeah, I was hypothyroid, put it this way. I was hypothyroid. So, yeah, too high. That's right. When you're hyper, it's too low. When you're hypo, it's too high. So my thyroid levels were too high. And so then, I was also having some choking problems at the time too. And he says, well, this is of course my regular doctor, not an endocrinologist, what I went to later. And he said, well, you're getting older now and that happens and you're overweight. So, you got some fatty tissue in your throat and that's making you choke. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. And he just kind of brushed it off. And in the meantime, he set me up with an endocrinologist and, he gave me Synthroid. And, he set me up with an endocrinologist appointment, which I didn't get right away. So in the meantime, I went to my endocrinologist about 2 weeks later. And I'm sitting in the room waiting for her to come in. The second she comes in, she says, what? Oh my God, you have a goiter. I'm like, what? A goiter on your thyroid? I'm like, are you kidding me? I just went to the doctor about that. And he checked and didn't even, he was touching my throat and didn't even notice that. No, I mean, given he's not an endocrinologist, so maybe he wasn't looking for something like that. But she saw it. She didn't touch me. She saw it right away. So she right away sent me up for an ultrasound. And, yeah. And, they found like a couple nodules and, little nodules. I'm not sure how big they were. They were small. And then I went to my endocrinologist and, they did a little biopsy. A needle biopsy on them, and it came back fine, but they monitored it. And I'm not sure how long, well, I guess for 4 years they monitored it, because in 2012 they did another needle biopsy and the nodules were growing and it came out that it was cancer. So then I had what's called a thyroidectomy, and they took my thyroid out. So all the while when I was on Synthroid all those years, 4 years or so, it could have been 6. I'm not exact on the dates here. That, at first I was fine and, didn't really improve my, I was tired all the time and I couldn't lose weight. I kept gaining weight. No matter what I did, I would gain weight, and I was tired and having brain fog and all that stuff. And it just got, on the Synthroid, it just got worse and worse and worse. Well, just when I thought it was the worst it could be, after my thyroid operation, yeah, it got even worse. I mean, the first 3 months, I was okay. I mean, I had a lot going on. I had just moved into my house in June, and then in August, in 2012, I had my operation. So my adrenaline was going, and I'm sure that was kind of helping me move along. And Christmas came, and my sister came down to visit for 10 days and stayed here. So all was fine. And although in those 3 months, I had gained like 30 pounds, maybe 40. I know it was at least 30, so really quickly, which is funny because when I was in the hospital, the doctor came in and gave me my new prescription of Synthroid. I was taking 150 milligrams, and then since I had no thyroid anymore, I needed to be taking 175. So if you're taking 150 to 175 milligrams, you pretty much don't have a thyroid. Your thyroid's not working. Not that you should have it taken out, but it's not working. It is not working. So yeah, just to let you know, I don't know if that really helps you any. Just, if you're feeling bad, that's why, because you're even on Synthroid, that's why. So he gave me 175 and he says to me, so when you start taking this, you probably really will start losing weight now. I'm like, yeah, even right then and there, I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I haven't lost weight all this time. Finding out that I had a thyroid problem and then put me on Synthroid, yeah, that didn't help. That didn't help. So, yeah. So, come January in 2013, the bottom fell out. Yeah, severely. I became severely depressed. I had anxiety. I had fibromyalgia symptoms. I had brain fog. I had daily headaches, which I had prior to my thyroid operation. And I told, every time I went to the doctor, I told them I was having headaches. They just like brushed it off. They didn't want to seek out what was the problem. Oh, well, you have a headache. I'm like, this is what happens. I wake up in the morning and I immediately go to the medicine cabinet and take some Advil every morning. Yes. So, yeah. So that was that. I had extreme heat and cold intolerance, mostly heat because I live in Florida. I couldn't be out in the heat. It just like completely sucked the life out of me. I would be outside for 20 minutes and yeah, I'd go inside and I would be done for the day. Trying to do some yard work or something. I had severe fatigue and just muscle weakness and, I mean severe fatigue. Unless it happens to you, you didn't really know how that feels. It's not regular fatigue. I mean, I remember going outside and watering the plants with the hose and then trying to wind the hose up. And I'd go around one time on my arm, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't keep my arm up. Oh my God, I can't wind this hose up. And just, I tried a couple more times. I'm like, forget it. The hose is not getting wound up on the thingy anymore. And I had to go inside and it just, fell apart. Took a nap on the couch. So this continued. All of these symptoms continued for a while. And I kept going to the doctor and I'd be bawling my eyes out, crying and saying, it's not working for me. And at this point, I had already been on my second endocrinologist, which is a typical thing. Most endocrinologists do not understand your thyroid. From the research that I've done and from groups that I've joined and stuff, they just don't understand your thyroid. They're endocrinologists, the endocrine system, so they're mostly all about the diabetes, so they know about that. They don't know a whole lot. I think our country in general does not know, I don't know about other countries, about thyroid. When this is what I've learned, when they go to school and to become a doctor, become an endocrinologist, and I would say this goes for all doctors, that they do not teach them about any natural ways to help you all. They teach you about, what medicine can you give your patients to help them? And at this point in time, it's Synthroid. They didn't even teach them about armor. So most endocrinologists don't even know how to administer armor, which I'm going to get to in a minute. I'm kind of going ahead of myself there. So, yeah. So I went to him, and I would be crying, and this endocrinologist was terrible, and he just wouldn't listen to me. He would give me all 5 minutes. And at one time, I'm talking to him about how bad I'm feeling. And he has his hand on the doorknob, ready to go out the door. And I'm like, really? Seriously, I'm trying to talk to you. I mean, in my head, I was saying that, but I didn't have enough balls to say it to him. And he's like, oh well, you know, you're in menopause, you're getting older, you're tired, you just need to exercise and lose weight and eat right. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not it. I'm totally fatigued. And I asked him several times. I did some research, and I found out about Armor, about natural desiccated thyroid. And I probably spent a year on this website called Stop the Thyroid Madness, and I'll put the link down below. And they actually have a conjoining, I don't know what the word is for it, Facebook group that is all the people that, you know, go to that website and believe in natural desiccated thyroid, because they are natural desiccated thyroid I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, believers. Not that they don't, they support all kinds. They support Synthroid on the website and on the Facebook too, but they are supporters of natural desiccated thyroid, is what I wanted to say. And this is not some hokum or anything like that. This is real, and it's real medicine. I mean, that's what they gave people with thyroid problems back in the 1960s, you know, forever. And so, you know, he wanted to give me diet pills. He wanted to give me anti-anxiety pills. He wanted to give me depression pills. And I'm like, no, I don't. Can you just write me a prescription for Armor? So finally, like after the third time, he says, fine, let's try Armor. And yeah, so he prescribed me 180 milligrams of Armor. And thank goodness, he didn't even know how to prescribe this correctly. So thank goodness I was following on the website and following in the Facebook group that of how you should take the Armor. You should not take it. So let me back up a little. You know, I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video. So those of you who are taking Synthroid, and I wanted to tell you there is another option. You do not have to take Synthroid. It is a synthetic drug. Well, it's not a drug, synthetic hormone. Sorry, it's not a drug. Synthetic hormone, and there is a natural hormone that you can take, and that's natural desiccated thyroid. There are other brands, and I'm going to get into that for a second. So finally, he finally conceded and said, okay, I'll give you Armor. And I think I already said that. So he prescribed 180 milligrams. Well, if I took 180 milligrams since I was already on Synthroid, yes, I would have been climbing the walls. Your thyroid makes several puts out several hormones, and one is T1, T2, T3, and T4. And T3 and T4 are the most important ones. And then there's one other hormone, and I do not recall at the top of my head, but I'll put the link to several links to Stop the Thyroid Madness that explains all of this and how your thyroid works and your hormones and stuff like that. So Synthroid is only T4. Now your pancreas. Now don't quote me on all of this. Again, I still have brain fog back then, so you know, sometimes in my head, I know what I'm talking about, but when I try to explain it to somebody, it just doesn't come out right. So do your research, and I'll put plenty of links so you can look this up. And don't take my word for it. You need to talk to your doctor, but honestly, I don't trust doctors, you know. Well, I have a good doctor now, but I will be looking for a new one, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But yeah, so it only replaces, what did I say? Your pancreas is supposed to convert the T4 into T3, and so you have T3 and T4, but you don't have T1 and T2, and you don't have that other hormone. Your thyroid needs all of that. Well, that's what natural desiccated thyroid does. And so you already have T4 in your system, and then you're adding more T4 in your system because it stays in your system for 30 days or more. I'm not sure what the exact is. So you cannot take 100 milligrams of, switch right away from Synthroid to 180 milligrams of, or whatever the doctor prescribes you, of Armor, your natural desiccated thyroid. Yeah, you will be climbing the walls. You will be so hyper, and you will be having heart palpitations, and that's not good. I mean, oh my God, I can't even think about how, if I had done that, what would have happened. But so I started out at 60 milligrams, and you take 60 milligrams for 2 weeks, and then you increase 30 milligrams until you're optimal, till your labs come back good, and so that you feel good too. Your symptoms are gone. Many people that were on Synthroid that had anxiety and depression and fibromyalgia and headaches and all these things that were wrong with them, as soon as they started taking natural desiccated thyroid medicine, yeah, those symptoms began to subside, and eventually mine are gone. I do have a little bit of maybe fibromyalgia, and I tend to have some flare-ups and stuff, but I need to do healthy things to take care of me. But yes, day one on taking Armor, day one, the first day, immediately, I felt better. Yeah, I believe the Synthroid was giving me the headaches. Now, given that, each time you're going to have a little bit of side effects when you begin. I mean, that happens with any medicine. So, for each increase, I had no headaches, and then every time I increased, I started to get a little bit of a headache and a little bit of a heart palpitation, but nothing major. I mean, it went away after a day or two, and and now I don't have them at all, and I'm at 100. And well, I'm not at 180 milligrams, I'm at 175 milligrams of nature thyroid, which I'm going to tell you. So yeah, it took me a year on the website and on the Facebook page to linger on there and listen to everybody's thyroid stories and say, all right, I need to do this. I really need to do this. So in August of 2013, no, yeah, I forget already. Let's see. I didn't start it 2014. August in 2014, I started the Armor. And I felt good and everything, and I was feeling better each time, but I wasn't feeling exactly where I thought I should be, even though the labs were starting to come back better and better each time I went. And let me tell you this, if your doctor is only running TSH, yeah, no. He needs to be running a bunch of other tests. And again, brain fog, I don't remember what they are. There's he needs to do a T3 and a T4 and a reverse T4, and all of the labs that your doctor should be running is in the Stop the Thyroid Madness, and I'll put a link down below to that. So he needs to be running all those tests. Just TSH is not going to determine your thyroid. TSH actually tests your pituitary gland, and the way I remember it is that your pituitary gland knocks on the door of your thyroid and says, hello, wake up, start putting out some hormones to your body. So it's not a really good indicator of whether you're having thyroid problems. So you need to have all those other tests run too. So, yeah, so all those were starting to come back better. Some were low and, whatnot. So in the meantime, I found a new endocrinologist, and she is awesome. Female. I'm sorry. That's terrible, but I just don't think men understand female problems. So she is great, but I went to her what day was that? Monday. Today's Wednesday. And I knew her husband was sick because I was sick one time, and she came in with a mask because she didn't want to spread the germs back to her husband. And I had a good visit, and it was wonderful because she was like, I'm so happy with the progress that you are making, and now you're eating healthy, and you're doing all the right things, and you're good to go. She says, but I have some sad news for you. Am I going to cry here? Yeah, I'm trying not to cry. And she says, I'm going to be moving to California. And because her husband has non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I started crying, and then I made her cry, and she goes, but you're good, hon. You're good. We hugged and everything. She says, you're good. You got this now. And I do have this now. So I'm good, and I need tissue. So, anyway, but let me backtrack a little bit. So I was taking Armor. And then come April of 2015, I was drinking. I think I really did myself in, really, honestly. I was drinking, I forgot. Oh my God, I totally forgot to tell you. Not only did I have thyroid cancer, I can't believe I forgot this. I also have something called Hashimoto's. It's an autoimmune disease. And oh my God, I still can't believe I forgot to tell you this at the beginning of the video. So, I guess I'll have to put a little card or, a little image there or saying that I have Hashimoto's at the beginning. So, I had that. I have that, and it's an autoimmune disease. And even though I don't have a thyroid anymore, I still have the Hashimoto's antibodies in my body. And Hashimoto's like attacks your thyroid, and that's why the thyroid stopped working. I don't think that's why I had thyroid cancer. I believe that is a separate thing. It doesn't cause thyroid cancer. I'm not really sure of the facts on that, but even though I don't have my thyroid anymore, I still have Hashimoto's antibodies, and now they are kind of attacking the other organs in my body, and that's what causes fibromyalgia and all that, and all that kind of stuff. So in April, I started to have a problem. I do believe with my pancreas. I had a pancreatitis. I went to the emergency room. I was in severe pain. And they said your spleen is enlarged, and you possibly have pancreatitis. We're not sure. They gave me some pain medicine, and that only made it worse because it constipated me. And yeah, so I also was drinking a ton of Bolthouse Farms mocha cappuccinos, which and then I wasn't drinking any water at all because that was quenching my thirst, and I wasn't drinking any water. Well, that's why my spleen was enlarged, because your spleen, all of your organs need water, water, water. That's why I'm doing water, water, water this month in January. So yeah, your organs need all that water. So I also had pneumonia, and yeah, I lost 11 pounds, and 1 week, I lost 11 pounds. Yeah, that was terrible. But the good thing was, that's terrible to say. I lost 11 pounds and I kept it off. I didn't gain it back. Oh my God, years and years and years, 30 years. Seriously, I would lose weight and gain it back, lose weight and gain it back, and more and more and more. This time, I lost 11 pounds. Of course, I was sick, and it didn't come back. Normally, that would come back. I've been sick before when I was on Synthroid. And then I just gain it right back. Yeah. You had to be perfectly diet every day, 365 days a year, 24/7, and it would stay off. But yeah, that ain't never gonna happen. The second you cheated, it was back on. So I got over that. Yes, I got over the pancreatitis, although they don't really sure if that's what it was. They couldn't be sure. Went to a gastroenterologist. She says, well, we'll just have to wait till it happens again to find out. What? Anyway, I think it was water. I think I hydrated myself, and plus the mocha cappuccinos has something called carrageenan in it. And I've looked some stuff up, and it really bothers the stomach of many people. It is a natural ingredient. They use it as a thickener in many things. They use it in cottage cheese. They use it in chocolate milk. They use it in a lot of stuff. And so I think I am sensitive to it, so I try not to, I do still drink the mocha cappuccinos like once a week. I really shouldn't, but really should have the tropical smoothie mocha matas, because I don't think there's carrageenan, whatever in that. And I will put a link to an article about that below, and probably a lot of other articles that you could read of all the information that I'm going to tell you. So this is going to be a long video. I hope you all got a cup of coffee. If you didn't get a cup of coffee, then go get one now, because I have a little bit more to tell you. So I fast forward to September. So I was doing good and everything like that, but overall, when I started taking Armor, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how bad I actually felt. I had forgotten how it felt to be normal. So I started to feel normal, but not 100%. And now I know why. So then in September, I got my I refilled my prescription for Armor. Well, I started having severe leg pain. And, you know, it felt like shin splints, but it felt more like, my husband says, oh, it's shin splints. I'm like, no, it's not shin splints. I'm not running. He says, well, you've been doing a lot of yard work and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I said, no, it's not the same thing. I said, it's my bones are hurting. It's weird. I didn't know how to explain it. Well, I did some research, plus my sister just started taking Armor, and she was having severe leg pain, and she was having, that was so bad, I wasn't having to take anything but Advil. She was having to take Oxycontin. She almost went to the emergency room and passed out, that it was so bad. So come to find out, I did some research, and on the thyroid group Facebook, and that didn't know this, that Armor was bought out by another company, and they reformulated the medicine, and it was causing a ton of people problems, those same kind of problems. I was having severe leg pain and severe inflammation. So all this time, you know, since 2008 or before, I've been taking a diuretic because of severe inflammation. So I now believe Synthroid was causing that severe inflammation, and then Armor caused it. I was having to take that diuretic called triamterene HCTZ. So, I mean, how many years? 8 years I've been taking that medicine. So not good for your kidneys. Probably damaged my kidneys at this point, but I'm no longer taking that because of Nature Thyroid. So after I found out that it was the Armor, I asked my doctor to switch me to Nature Thyroid. Oh my God. I forgot to tell you that also my hair was falling out, but not just a little bit. All this time back in 2008, you know, like I would have a hair in the drain every time I had to clean. Every time I took a shower, I had to clean that out. And if I would go like this, I would get clumps of hair. Not a lot, but clumps. And then it got better on Armor. But it got even better when I started taking Nature Thyroid. I go like this. Oh, I have one hair. One hair. That's great. That's normal. I would say that's normal. And I actually I just feel 100% now. Better than 100%. I feel 110% better on that. And after 3 days after taking my Nature Thyroid, the pain in my legs went away. Yeah. No, that being said, I am having a little bit of pain, but it's not that same kind of pain. I do believe it's from gluten intolerance and water. I need to up my water intake, and I am working on that. So if you have Hashimoto's autoimmune disease, if you have a thyroid problem, there are other options for you. There's natural desiccated thyroid. So I will put all the links down there below for you. So I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm forgetting. I wanted to tell you all that, but if there's something I forget, I will tell you in my next video, because I'm going to do a video where I'm going to talk about what else I am doing besides taking my natural desiccated thyroid medicine. Again, since taking Nature Thyroid, I do not have to take my diuretic anymore. And because I was taking a diuretic, I had to take potassium because it was dehydrating me. Yeah, that was a problem too. Back in April, I was drinking those mochas, plus I was taking a diuretic, and not drinking water dehydrated me. Yeah, your body needs water. All your organs need water. And I also started going to a chiropractor back in April too, after I got over my pancreatitis. I forgot to tell you that. And what was weird is within 1 month after going to the chiropractor, I became optimal. And optimal means all your labs are good. All my vitamins were good. All my vitamin D, my vitamin B12, everything was perfect after I started going to the chiropractor. So I think there's a link there. So what I was saying is I'm going to do another video on my thyroid health. Hashimoto's health, my autoimmune disease health, because I don't have a thyroid anymore. So anyway, I am so good. I mean, I started feeling good in May, because that's when April, I started my YouTube channel. And even better now on my Nature Thyroid. These medicines have fillers in it. All medicines have fillers in it. And Armour has more fillers, and obviously they screwed up the formula on that. And Thyroid has less. And there are other options other than Thyroid. I don't recall the names of them, but you can find all that on the Facebook page group, the thyroid Facebook page group, people without a thyroid and people with a thyroid. There's several Facebook pages on there. And you can find that on the Stop the Thyroid Madness. It was, I believe, a nurse who started the site, and she was having thyroid problems, and she found out about natural desiccated thyroid, and it changed her life, and it has changed a lot of these women's life. I mean, I only went through three years of hell, and my husband is glad to have his wife back. He just was fit to be tied and didn't know what to do with me. And but I'm good now, and hopefully you can take this information. And you know, I have to say this: you have to consult your doctor, but endocrinologists are not versed on that. I already talked about that. And actually, you can look up. I'll try to remember to put the link down below. You can look up. I believe a lot of these doctors are getting kickbacks. I mean, I know these doctors are getting kickbacks. There's actually a public site that you can look up your doctor and see how much money he's getting on kickbacks for certain medicines. So I looked my previous endocrinologist up, and he wasn't getting a ton of money from Synthroid, but he was getting quite a bit. I want to say at least $10,000 a year, if not $20,000. But I don't know. I'd have to look that up again. He was getting a lot of kickbacks from other medicines too. So anyway, my current doctor, which I now have to find a new one. She is not leaving till May. What was I going to say? My current doctor, she doesn't have any kickbacks on hardly any medicine at all. She's a wonderful doctor. And I didn't talk to you about radioactive iodine. Oh my goodness. So I'm on 36 minutes here. So I forgot to say that was part of the problem too. I had, after my thyroid operation, a month later, I had something called radioactive iodine. And, you know, it's radioactive. They give that to you, and it kills off the rest of your thyroid, because they cannot take your whole thyroid out, because it's really close to your parathyroids, which controls your calcium intake and all that. So they would damage the parathyroid glands if they removed it all. So they use radioactive iodine to kill the rest of the thyroid, because your thyroid can grow back. So if my thyroid goes back, I'm probably going to have cancer. So, but so far so good. I've done all the scans, and the radioactive the radioactive iodine caused problems too. My face swelled up really bad, and now I have salivary gland problems. So if I get dehydrated, my face all swells up. And so that was a side effect of that. And I had teeth problems afterwards. My teeth started falling out. There's all kinds of, so that was causing some of all of my problems too. It's just horrible. So there's a lot of people who chose to do radioactive iodine every year to get a scan, because after you do that, the radioactive iodine goes right to your thyroid cancer, so it highlights it if there's any more, and it showed that there was none. I was clean. But I didn't want to do that every year. So I talked to my doctor, and she does an ultrascan, and she does a thyroglobulin scan, blood work, and my thyroglobulin levels are not elevated, or I'm not, they're in the right range. I'm not sure if elevated is the right thing to say, because I don't know whether it's up or down on that. But everything looks good. In fact, my current doctor is going to go ahead and do another ultrasound and the thyroglobulin again before she leaves in May, because she wants to know that I'm okay. And I've had that done, and I'm good now. So that's all I wanted to say. I think do your research, go to the websites. I'll put a ton of links down below so you can check out all the information on this. And if you're feeling bad, there is another option. And again, look to my thyroid health story, and I will talk to you about vitamins and other things, because you're not going to just survive on your thyroid medication. When you have an autoimmune disease, you are probably low in vitamin D and a bunch of other things, but I'll talk to you then again for that. And that's enough for today, because I've gone all way too long here. So as always, guys, enjoy your day.